the US labels the planned autonomy referendums in Ukraine as totally illegitimate, the Assistant Secretary of State has come under fire in Congress. Victoria Nuland struggled to defend the activists in Kiev who have benefited from Washington's support. Have a good listen to this.
We did have a legitimate election before, and the elected president was removed after we had major street violence. There were pictures that people running around with these that we were told were neo-nazis.
First of all, the vast majority of those who participated on the Maïdan were peaceful protesters. If you had a chance to see the pictures, many of us visited, including many members here. There were mothers and grandmothers and veterans.
Let me note that I have.
However,
before you go on, I saw those pictures as well. I also saw a lot of pictures of people throwing firebombs at groups of policemen who were huddled over in a corner, where people shooting into the ranks of police. So yes, there were mothers with flowers, but there were also very dangerous street fighters who were engaged in those demonstrations. The question is, were there neo-Nazi groups involved in that?
There were, as I said, almost every color of Ukraine was represented, including some ugly colors.
The answer is yes, then.
And that House Committee on Foreign Affairs session didn't get it any easier for Victoria Nuland. Here's Marina Portnaya.
In addition to the exchange we just heard, Victoria Nuland was also grilled about the U.S. administration's haphazard and inconsistent policy of supporting self-determination. Another congressman specifically asked Ms. Nuland why the U.S. has supported the independence of South Sudan and Kosovo, for example, but dismisses efforts in other parts of the world, similar efforts. Well, she explained that the Obama administration opposes the changing of borders by force. Now, during her 2-hour testimony before the U.S. House Committee on Foreign Affairs, Ms. Nuland reiterated America's commitment and support for the coup-appointed government in Ukraine, and that support has been quite lucrative. She says that the U.S. has provided $18 million in non-lethal assistance to Kyiv and $9 million in funding to be used for the upcoming May 25th election. And the interim government is also supposed to be using those funds for their overall public relations campaign. Now, the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State did acknowledge that President Vladimir Putin on Monday publicly called for de-escalation in violence when he asked for the upcoming referendums in eastern Ukraine to be delayed. Nonetheless, Ms. Nuland disregarded the statements made by the Russian leader, insisting still that Moscow is determined to destabilize Ukraine.